We are traveling in Tanzania, across the Serengeti, to the Olduvai Gorge, a 6,000-mile-long geological trench that has shaped human evolution. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it is often called the Cradle of Humankind, because it contains one of the most continuous and rich records of human evolution, spanning over 2 million years. Once inside the gates, we find buildings reflecting traditional African huts, built with modern materials. Using the restrooms here, after the long drive, you see the facilities are modern and well maintained, even in this remote location. We then head out to the viewpoint. Olduvai is a misspelling of Olduvai, the Maasai word for the wild sisal plant that grows in the gorge. These plants line the stone-paved walkways that lead the way toward the ravine. At the end of the pathway, we find the museum. It is again built with a design that mimics a traditional Maasai boma, while using modern materials. And across a large, open paved area, you will find the recently renovated panoramic viewpoint amphitheater. The viewing platform is wide and welcoming, often used as a space for lectures and orientation. At its edge, you also get an amazing view of the gorge. First discovered by Wilhelm Catwinkle in 1911, who uncovered some fossil bones, Olduvai Gorge was made famous by Mary Leakey, who found the 1.75 million-year-old Nutcracker man skull and the world's earliest stone tools here. From this vantage point, we see the castle, a landmark used by the Leakeys to navigate their field research. Different shades of red and grey sediment mark distinct epochs, each layer allowing scientists to date fossils and stone tools back over 2 million years. After taking in the amazing views, it was time to head back to the museum to explore a captivating timeline of human history. On our way, we spot a few lizards, small, living remnants of this ancient site. Lizards are among the few animals that thrive in the intense midday heat of the gorge. Originally established in the 1970s by Mary Leakey, the museum was expanded and rebuilt in 2018. It is organized around an open and airy central courtyard. The displays take us chronologically through the human story, starting with a large map of Africa, highlighting Tanzania's central role in the migration of early hominins. Walking into the first hall, we are greeted with a curved mural, depicting what the world might have looked like 2 million years ago. Small figures of early humans are depicted moving through a landscape shared with giraffes and elephants. At the base is the Laetoli footprint trail, which was discovered in 1978. This finding was scientifically transformative, because it proves our ancestors achieved a modern, upright, heel-to-toe gait 3.6 million years ago. A skeletal reconstruction of an early hominin shows us that bipedalism emerged much earlier than stone tool use. Beyond its upright gait, the skeleton's features suggest a strong propensity for climbing, implying that our early ancestors also likely spent a substantial amount of time in trees. We also find a replica of the town child skull, the first fossil evidence of Australopithecus africanus, proving that human origins lay in Africa rather than Asia, as previously believed. Its discovery fundamentally shifted the scientific timeline by demonstrating that bipedalism, walking upright, evolved long before the development of large, human-like brains. We also look at a massive skull of an ancient rhinoceros species, showing they have remained relatively unchanged for millions of years. This prehistoric rhinoceros was a contemporary of our earliest ancestors, competing for the same lush vegetation. Moving on to the next gallery, we encounter a panel that outlines the important history of this site. From its 1911 discovery to the Leakeys' groundbreaking find of Zinj, Olduvai Gorge remains a gateway to our past. The site is still active today, with projects continuing to unearth thousands of fossils. Zinj means East African man, in a combination of Arabic and Greek. Its discovery here proved that 1.8 million years ago, early humans were already living in complex social groups, using tools to hunt, and returning to home bases, near reliable water sources to share food. The detailed mural here reconstructs the exact site where Zinj was found, showing a group of ancestors butchering a carcass. The scene is one of cooperation and survival, a crucial step in the development of the social human mind. Inside this gallery, we learn how the development of stone tools and meat-eating drove significant increases in brain size and social cooperation. Display cases show the biodiversity of the paleo environment during this time of our early human ancestors. We find the skull and mandible, or lower jaw, of a Therapithecus species, a large ground-dwelling primate. There are also fossilized horns, jaws, and teeth of a variety of antelope and other bovid. These animals probably were a good food source to the earliest human hunters and scavengers. Finally, fossilized tusks and mandibles of massive ancient pig species illustrate the formidable variety of wildlife our ancestors faced daily. Continuing, we learn about the differences between the Paranthropus boisei and the Homo habilis. They represent two different evolutionary strategies emerging at that time. One focused on specialized diet, the other on tools. We first take a look at this remarkably well-preserved mandible of Paranthropus boisei. It teaches us about the massive jaw muscles required for their specialized diet. Analysis of the maxilla reveals very small incisors and enormous molars, resulting in the nickname Nutcracker Man, as it was initially believed to have fed on grains, nuts and seeds, although it is now known that it ate grass and leaves. Then the skull of Homo habilis was called the Handy Man, because it was believed to be the first significant creator of stone tools. The display reveals that this skull's cranial features are more refined, and the brain case is larger, marking a clear departure from our more ape-like precursors. The first stone tool industry was called Olduvai, and signified the dawn of technology, where our ancestors began purposefully shaping objects and their environment. Stone flakes and choppers, the earliest known technology, allowed our ancestors to access food sources previously out of reach. To the untrained eye, they are just rocks, but the deliberate fracture patterns reveal a purposeful and intelligent design. These heavy hammerstones were the engines of early life, used to crack open bone for nutrient-rich marrow. These tools represented a massive shift in harmony and intelligence and behavior. We then explore the fossils for Homo habilis, starting with the holotype specimen bones and mandible of 07, found by the Leakey's son, Jonathan. Next were small replica fragments of limb bones from OH62. These partial skeleton bones provided a rare look at the body proportions of these early toolmakers. And finally a tibia from OH35, that shows a bone growth, suggesting this individual survived a serious injury. Nearby is a skull of Homo rudolfensis, a Homo species that had a significantly larger cranium and a flatter face. It shows that 1.9 million years ago, there wasn't just one type of early human, but multiple lineages, with different physical traits living in East Africa simultaneously. Animal fossils were also found here, and microscopic analysis on these bones have identified deliberate cut marks made by stone tools while butchering. We also see bones that were shattered, revealing a consistent technique used to extract marrow, a high-value survival skill. In the next gallery, we move to the era of Homo erectus, our more direct ancestor, who was the first to leave Africa and master fire. The large display there shows the BK site, a 1.3 million-year-old archaeological snapshot, revealing that Homo erectus was a sophisticated social hunter. They were skilled enough to hunt and butcher large animals, using more advanced tools, all while competing with dangerous predators like hyenas and crocodiles. Homo erectus represented a pivotal evolutionary leap, featuring a modern-looking body, adapted for endurance running, and a significantly larger brain. It also had the social and technological sophistication to utilize tools and work together. These changes enabled Homo erectus to transform to a high-quality diet in which meat played a prominent role. Moving to the displays, we find a Homo erectus coxal bone, which showed how the pelvis bone was wider and more robust, as our ancestors started adapting to upright walking and larger physical frames. In addition, a well-preserved Homo erectus skull highlights the prominent brow ridges and the elongated, low cranial vault. And then, there is a replica of Turkana Boy, the most complete early human skeleton ever found, dating back 1.5 million years. Homo erectus lived from about 1.9 million to 110,000 years ago, the longest-lived species of the genus Homo. It was the first ancestor, with body proportions similar to modern humans. Animal fossils included the horns of Pelorovis, a massive extinct buffalo that dwarfs their modern relatives. Also there is the fossils of the Civatharium, a giant, horned giraffe ancestor that looked more like a moose than its modern cousins. Fragments of massive elephant teeth and limb bones reveal that Olduvai was once home to several species of the trunk giants. And the horn and mandible from an ancient gnu species shows that the great migration patterns of the Serengeti have ancient roots. Panels describe how the abundance of these large mammals made Olduvai an attractive home for burgeoning human populations. Other animal fossils here include a mandible of an extinct wildebeest, showing the specialization of wildlife in the increasingly arid African environment. We also find several fossilized teeth and jaw fragments from a zebra species. And fossilized tusks and teeth of the Gorgon hippo illustrate a time when the gorge was much wetter and more lush than today. Stone tools continued to be used, and following the death of Louis Leakey, Mary Leakey documented the coexistence of Oldowan and Acheulean tool technologies within the younger deposits of Olduvai Gorge. Appearing roughly 1.7 million years ago, the Acheulean industry represented a major cognitive leap for Homo species through the creation of sophisticated, multi-purpose tools like the symmetrical hand axe. And with that, the final gallery transitions to the age of our species, Homo sapiens. The large mural shows later humans using fire and living in organized camps on the gorge's edge. It illustrates the emergence of complex culture. We examine the Indutu skull, a fossil that shows a transition from earlier hominids toward modern humans. It also explains the shared ancestry and eventual divergence of humans and Neanderthals. We learn how skulls like Naloba show that archaic hominins evolved into modern Homo sapiens. We see how early humans shifted from bulky, Acheulean hand axes to more specialized tools like spears and darts. The Middle Stone Age wasn't just about smaller tools, it was the era when humans began to think like engineers, and different techniques, for the first time, marked regional variety across the continent. Moving to the later Stone Age, we transition to modern human life, characterized by sophisticated toolkits, complex social structures, and the birth of personal fashion and symbolic identity. A new carving technique, lamination, allowed for the creation of very thin and narrow elongated flakes, effectively blades. The museum then honors the modern indigenous people of the region, the Hadza and Datoga, whose traditional lives still echo the past. One of the last hunter-gatherer tribes in the world, we see the bows, arrows, and poison quivers used by the Hadza, showing a continuity of skills stretching back thousands of years. The Datoga are skilled blacksmiths and leather workers. They used ochre and butter to treat skins, and created specific patterns of brass jewelry, which are hallmarks of the cultural identity. Traditional semi-nomadic pastoralists in Tanzania, the Datoga were displaced by the Maasai within the Ngorongoro region. The Maasai are an iconic pastoralist group, whose cattle-centric culture and age-set traditions are still practiced here in Tanzania. Outside, the museum pays tribute to Fausta, a black rhino from Ngorongoro who lived to the record-breaking age of 57. Fausta died of natural causes in 2019 and was a symbol of conservation success. Her story is a reminder of the fragility of the modern ecosystem and the need for constant vigilance against extinction. Black rhinos remain critically endangered due to poaching and habitat loss. Completing our visit to the museum, we move on to the next part of the tour, heading deeper into the gorge, following the rugged trails where the actual work of discovery happens. The gorge floor is accessible only with a registered guide and a high-clearance 4x4 vehicle. Excavation is painstaking work, and daytime temperatures in the gorge can regularly exceed 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Concrete markers and stakes identify the specific dig sites. Each major stratigraphic layer is called a bed, with bed 1 being the oldest at the bottom. Olduvai is divided into the main gorge and the side gorge, where most fossils are found. And after some time, we reach our destination, an active dig site. Here, the glamorous world of museum displays is replaced by the reality of heat, dust, and pickaxes. We can see a few researchers in the distance, working carefully to slowly sift through each layer of the earth. Excavation is a slow process, and a team might move only a few inches of soil in a month. Many researchers are from local Tanzanian universities working in partnership with international teams. While we did get to visit the site, meet the team, and learn about the process, no photography was allowed, so we don't have any close footage for this video. We also got to see the exact spot, where the first fragments of Zinj anthropus were found by Mary Leakey in 1959. And a concrete marker, identifying the location where some Homo habilis, teeth and cranial fossils were excavated. Looking at this unremarkable patch of ground, it's hard to believe it has yielded some of the most famous fossils in history. This FLK Zinj site provided the first clear evidence that early hominins were not just opportunistic foragers, but were also capable of complex site selection, meat consumption, and social organization nearly 2 million years ago. Back in our vehicle, we head toward our final stop on this tour, the original place where Mary Leakey stayed during those formative years. We cross the dry, gravel-filled bed of the Olduvai River, a passage that would be impassable in the rainy season. Buildings appear in the distance, the modest structures that once housed the giants of 20th century science. The camp was a hub of activity, hosting researchers from around the world. The buildings have been preserved to represent what it was like during Mary Leakey's time here. Focusing on her work in the gorge, she preferred these Spartan conditions, spending 50 years here until she retired. We had a chance to see the small cooking shed used as the kitchen for the camp. Rugged and functional, it provided meals hundreds of miles from the nearest modern convenience. And a guest house, which provided accommodation for visiting scientists and researchers. We then get a view of the Mary and Louis Leakey residence, a uniport round hut. It was a modest living space, with a simple bed, 2 wooden armchairs, and a small sofa. The walls are adorned with historical black and white photographs of Mary and Louis Leakey at work, as well as images of the excavation sites. Being off-grid, the site had to be powered by wind. The windmill, which you can see behind the trees, fed 56 dry cell batteries to store power for the site. These batteries were housed in a small shed, called the powerhouse, generating the electricity needed for lamps and radios, the only link between the Leakeys and their family in Nairobi, Kenya. Today, the site has solar, and has been updated, with a new array of batteries. Water collection was also an important part of keeping the site up and running. We see a network of pipework, and the concrete slabs of the 2 underground water reserves, built to collect every precious drop of rainwater. During dry periods, they did have to transport water from Ngorongoro to keep them filled. These reserves are still in use today, a testament to the enduring engineering of the original camp. Our tour ended in the artifact storage huts, which are filled with crates. The sheer volume of fossils and tools found at Olduvai means research will continue for centuries. Olduvai Gorge is more than a destination, it is a mirror reflecting our persistence across 2 million years of survival. Thanks for watching, please like, follow and subscribe.